this video, we're going to look at how to write an equation of a perpendicular line. If you want to learn how to write an equation of a parallel line, look up in the top right hand corner of this video right now, and I'll link that video. All right, for a perpendicular line, we need to understand something about the slopes of perpendicular lines. So in a coordinate plane, two non-vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if the product of their slopes is -1. Okay, so that's the dictionary definition way to look at it. Another thing to remember is their slopes need to be opposite reciprocals. Okay, opposite reciprocals. So opposite means one's positive, one's negative, right? And then a reciprocal would be like you're flipping the fraction, right? So if one has a slope of 2/3, then the other needs to be opposite, so -2/3, and reciprocal, so -3/2, right? If a line has a slope of 2, then the opposite reciprocal or the perpendicular line would be -1/2, so -1/2, okay? And just like in the parallel lines video, there is another extra side note here. Horizontal lines are perpendicular to vertical lines, okay? So we know a horizontal line has a slope of 0, and a vertical line has a slope of undefined. So those are not necessarily opposite reciprocals. So it's just basically given to us and understood that those lines are perpendicular. Okay, so let's look at an example of how to write an equation of a line that passes through a given point and that's supposed to be perpendicular to a given line. So our point that we're working with is -12, 6, and they want this to be perpendicular to the line y equals 2/3 x minus 10. So once again, we're working in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals mx plus b. Remember, m is where our slope is located. So in our equation right here, the key part is 2/3. Okay, so for this line, m is equal to 2/3. So now the slope of our perpendicular line needs to be the opposite reciprocal of that. So opposite would be 2/3, and then reciprocal means we switch the numerator and the denominator. So the slope of our perpendicular line needs to be -3/2. And so now we can take that and plug it into our slope-intercept form equation for m. So now we have y equals -3/2 x plus b. And now we can use our given point that we want the line to pass through, plug the coordinates in for x and y so that we can solve for b, which is our y-intercept. So it says -12 is x and 6 is y. So I'm going to plug 6 for y, and we're going to plug in -12 for x. And now we just have the one variable b, and so we can solve for it. So we do -3/2 times 12. So negative times a negative is a positive. This would be 36/2, which is 18. And now we subtract 18 from both sides, and we get -12 is equal to b. And so now we can take this value, -12, and plug it right there in for our variable b, and we have our perpendicular line. Okay, so now we could say y is equal to -3/2 x minus 12, and that would be the equation of our line that is perpendicular to y equals 2/3 x minus 10. And that's how you write an equation of a perpendicular line.